Hello everybody, welcome back to Read and Reread. I am Angelia and today it is time for the March TBR. There's only a couple of days left of February, even including leap year. We must look ahead into March and see this fabulous pile of possibilities. There's no way I'm going to get through all these books. I even preemptively cut some of them out, and I had to remind myself, as I do every month, just because it's an event and you think of a good book to read for it, you don't have to read it right then. You could save it for later. You don't have to do every single event. Let's all remember that. But I am doing quite a few. And it is also Women's History Month. And so the vast majority, with one grandfathered loophole exception, are books by women. And so without further ado, let's see what I have on deck and whether or not I will actually make it through this pile. All right, so first of all, I have two buddy reads with my friend Michael Clark. The first one is Heartburn by Nora Ephron. So you get to look at this beautiful edition again that I just highlighted in my haul video. There's a foreword by Stanley Tucci. It was written in 1983. It is a novel, but is very autobiographical about Nora Ephron's experiences in her second marriage, when she found out while she was pregnant that her husband was cheating. She was married to the journalist Carl Bernstein of Watergate fame, All the President's Men, that journalist, and she can't help but be funny. I think it's going to be bittersweet, like funny and sad. I remember the movie. I enjoyed the movie a lot with Jack Nicholson and Meryl Streep, but I never read the book, so I'm really excited to read the book. The new foreword. Maybe I'll watch the movie again. Our other buddy read is the continuation of a project that we are doing, reading all the works of Kate DiCamillo in publication order. She's a children's author, mostly middle grade fiction, but a few picture books and early readers. And it is a pretty casual project because we read the first book in January and then we took a break in February. And her second published book is The Tiger Rising, and it was a National Book Award finalist in the youth division in 2001 or 2. I think the book was published in 2001, and I've never read this one. I've read a lot of her books, but I've never read this one, even though it was in my school library. Michael and I were both children's librarians previously, and we have a shared love of children's literature, and this is one of our favorite authors. Well, this is a very short blurb, so I'll just read it to you. Walking through the misty Florida woods one morning, 12-year-old Rob Horton is stunned to find a tiger, a real-life, very large tiger, locked in a cage. What's more, on the same extraordinary day, he meets Sistine Bailey, a girl who shows her feelings as readily as Rob hides his. As they learn to trust each other and ultimately to be friends, Rob and Sistine prove that some things like memories and heartache and tigers can't be locked up forever. So I don't know really anything about this one. It's just one that kind of escaped my radar in the past, but we are going to read it. It's pretty short too. It's only 116 pages. Now I'm going to get into some other group projects, and I will mention the grandfathered dude in the mix this month is William Shakespeare, because of the Bardroom Project that is in its second year, hosted by Melinda at a Web of Stories on her Discord, where we read a different Shakespeare play every month. And the March play is All's Well That Ends Well. So another comedy. I don't think that I have read or seen this one. I'm not 100% sure, because I always get that one mixed up with Much Ado About Nothing. But we just read that one, and that one I know I have seen and read, and now I've read it again. So this one is maybe the one that I haven't actually read. I'm going to find out. That's a fun discussion every month, so I'm going to be reading that. Another project that is continuing is the Pineiro Project, and that is a group of readers from around the globe that we are reading the translated works of Claudia Pineiro. We are right now on our second to last book, the penultimate book. I always love a chance to say penultimate. We're on Betty Boo right now. We're discussing that, and then we're going to be moving into the final book in this project, which I say with a little bit of sadness. And I hope that we can come up with another author or theme or something to extend the project in another direction, because I would not want to lose this fabulous group of friends. We've had such a good time discussing these books and other aspects of our lives. It's just a wonderful, supportive community. But we're going to be moving into A Little Luck, and I've had this book on my shelf for a good while. I'm going to say I've had this for at least a year, and because I bought it right after I read Elena Knows, and then I never got to it or anything else by Pineiro, even though I loved Elena Knows, until the project came along, and now my life is so much better. So this is going to be the final one. I don't know much about it, but it's one of these satisfying Sargasso Press books. They just make the nicest paperbacks. They have French flaps. They have thick covers. They're just so good. And this is translated by Frances Riddle. Another book by an author that I have been really eager to try is We Do Not Part by Kang. This was also in my haul video the other day. This is the March selection for the Reading the Globe project, hosted by Rhys from scallydandlingaboutthebooks and Katja from Page Turners with Katja, and it is on Katja's Discord. I've been curious about this author for quite a while, and then when she won the Nobel Prize for Literature last fall, she kind of rose up on my list of authors I really want to try, but I just still hadn't quite gotten around to it. Her new book is supposed to be really outstanding. The description is, Kang's mesmerizing new novel tells the story of a friendship between two women while powerfully reckoning with a hidden chapter of Korean history. On the surface, it's about a woman who is asked by an old friend to go through a bad snowstorm to this friend's house and feed a pet, I think, because the friend has become ill or injured. Let's see. Insun has injured herself in an accident, and she begs Young-ha to return to Jeju Island where she lives to save her beloved pet, a white bird called Amma. So there's sort of a difficult travel to get to her friend's house on this island in a snowstorm to save the bird. And while all of this is happening, there's a backstory from Korean history. And so I am here for it. I cannot wait to experience this book and this author. My project, Endless Drama, examines plays from the 20th and 21st century and is on a Discord that I created for that purpose. And the March plays are two plays by contemporary women playwrights. The first one is The Flick by Annie Baker. This won the Pulitzer Prize in, I think, around 2013, 2014, let's see, 2014. And, oh, it's right on the back, winner of the 2014 Pulitzer Prize for Drama. Okay, I'm going to try to read the description of this. I have already edited out 3 false starts because there's a certain state in our United States whose name I cannot say. So whatever I say, you're going to know what I'm trying to say, and I'm not going to stop again. So however it comes out, that's what it is. In a rundown movie theater in central Massachusetts, 3 underpaid employees sweep up popcorn in the empty aisles and tend to one of the last 35mm projectors in the state. With keen insight and a ceaseless attention to detail, the flick pays tribute to the power of movies and paints a heartbreaking portrait of 3 characters and their working lives. A critical hit when it premiered off-Broadway, this comedy by one of the country's most produced and highly regarded young playwrights was awarded awards. I love that premise, that the small group of characters, the movie theater, it sounds really good. My very first job as a teenager was the concession stand in a movie theater in the 80s. So the whole dirty movie theater thing I can relate to. The other play is Indecent by Paula Vogel. And this play, it was published in 2017. Paula Vogel previously won a Pulitzer Prize for How I Learned to Drive. I'm not sure about the prize history of this particular play, but we'll be finding out. And this one is a play about a play. And I think I read this blurb when I did a haul on this, but I'm going to share it one more time. When Sholem Asch wrote God of Vengeance in 1907, he didn't imagine the height of controversy the play would eventually reach. Performing at first in Yiddish and German, the play's subject matter wasn't deemed contentious until it was produced in English, when the American audiences were scandalized by the onstage depiction of an amorous affair between two women. Paula Vogel's newest work traces the trajectory of the show's success through its tour in Europe to its abrupt and explosive demise on Broadway in 1923, including the arrest of the entire production's cast and crew. Does that not sound like an amazing story? So it is a play about what happened to a previous play, and I am really excited about this one. Some of these books also qualify, now I'm kind of losing track. I think this one qualifies for something in Melinda's Storygraph Challenge, and the category was books published in 2025. The translation was published in 2025. I think, what else? I think that Indecent, there was a category about reading a play by a Jewish author about the Jewish experience. And the next one is actually from, and there's another one from the Storygraph Challenge, which also hits a different event in March. And okay, so the Storygraph Challenge is read a Golden Age mystery, but it's also March Mystery Madness. So I will put a link. I watched the Mystery Madness announcement that Criminale made, so I will put his in the box. And it's the 10th year of March Mystery Madness, which is celebrating mystery books. And there's a bunch of different prompts and paths and themes about the decades. But since I need to read a Golden Age mystery for my Storygraph Challenge, it's going to be the 1920s, and it's Gaudy Night by Dorothy Sayers. And I happen to have this book on my shelf. I read a previous couple of books in the Lord Peter Wimsey series. I found them entertaining, but I didn't fall in love with them where I wanted to just keep reading and reading. But I had Gaudy Night, and I haven't yet read it. And I've heard that this one is one of the best ones in the series, so I'm going to give it a shot. Have you read it? Let me know. Is it good? I hope it is. The Read Good Challenge, hosted by Ben Reads Good, has a different prompt for every month. The March prompt is the Ides of March. Read a book with 15 letters in the title. And I went crazy. I looked at every book I had. I looked at every book on my TBR, and you would not believe how many books have 16 letters in the title, including the original one that I had found a book by an Irish author, and it had 15 letters. And then I put it into my Storygraph, and I looked at it again. No, it had 16 letters. So I had to jettison that one. And then I was floundering around looking for a book I really wanted to read, not just something that had 15 letters to jam into the prompt. And then I was rescued by a reminder that came in the form of another person's video. And Marilyn Maya Mendoza, my friend Maya, was doing a video where she was talking about Jean Rhys, and she talked about Wide Sargasso Sea. And I remembered it was as if the book flew out of the video and hit me in the head, because I've been wanting to read Wide Sargasso Sea for years and have never gotten around to it. It is a prequel of sorts to Jane Eyre, and it has to do with the backstory of a certain pivotal character from Jane Eyre. I'm not going to say anything more about it because I'm not going to commit the spoiler crimes about Jane Eyre that I talked about in a recent video. But I've never read anything by Jean Rhys, and Maya spoke so highly of her in her video and about this book, and it just reignited my memory that I want to read it, and my library had it. It's another blissfully short novel, so that's always good. I mean, a number of the books this month are on the shorter side, which hopefully will help in light of something that I haven't shown you yet. But so Wide Sargasso Sea. Every month I include at least one nonfiction book. I started this practice last year, and this month I had one book in mind, but when I went to the library, I saw another book. So I have a choice, and I'm going to go with Reader's Mood and then maybe roll one of these forward, or I might have time to read both of them because they're both kind of short. But here are my two possibilities. I have The Position of Spoons by Deborah Levy, and these are short little essays. The description is a feast of observations about everything from the particular beauty of lemons on a table to the allure of Colette to the streets of Paris by the inimitable Deborah Levy. I read a novel by Deborah Levy for the Booktube Prize judging last year that I didn't love the book. I liked parts of it. I liked it off and on. I liked the style. I had that feeling where you think, I kind of want to read something else by this author because I think maybe I like it, but maybe I picked the wrong one. But I was assigned the book, so I didn't get to pick it. And then when I talked about it, a number of viewers suggested various things, but quite a few people suggested trying her nonfiction. And my friend Michael really spoke highly of this book that he read last year, and it was in some of his best of the year lists. And so I picked it up at the library and to give Deborah another chance. But while I was picking it up, I also saw Secrets of the Octopus by Cy Montgomery. And I have enjoyed a lot of Cy Montgomery's children's books. I have not read any of her adult books. And this is an adult book. It's about octopuses, and for me, it has a good ratio of text to photos, which is a problem in a lot of adult science and nature books for me. I like good photographs and lots of them if you're talking about a nature topic, or at least illustrations. It doesn't have to be photos. But this just really attracted me when I saw it in the new releases. So I'm going to read one or both of these and then try to renew the other one for next month. This is another Storygraph challenge from a web of stories of a book with an aquatic creature on the cover. And now we must address the mammoth in the room. It is March of the Mammoths time. Last year, I did not participate because I had a big pile of Booktube prize books that I needed to read for judging in March. But I'm not doing Booktube prize judging this year. I took a break, and so I've been planning to include a mammoth this year. And March of the Mammoths is an event, and the host is Jason from Old Blues Chapter and Verse, and I will put his announcement video down below. And it encourages you to read a longer book of at least 800 pages. And his intro video really succinctly explains what the value and purpose is of reading these longer books that we tend to have on our shelves and think, oh, I really want to get to that. And then all of the new books that come down the pike and projects and events, and they just kind of keep getting shuffled off. And even myself, I have been back and forth about whether or not I'm going to have time to include this book, but I bought it like 2 years ago. I've shown it a bunch of times, and I really do want to get to it. And it is The Count of Monte Cristo. Not Crisco, like I said in some recent video, but Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, the French writer. This is my other dude in March, another loophole here, because I've had this plan for so long. So I'm going to cut him a break and let him into the March TBR. My experience with The Count of Monte Cristo, I've never read it. When I was a kid, I saw a movie of it. I think it was a TV movie. It was probably in the late 70s, and I really, really liked this movie. It was exciting. I just remember something about a guy trying to break out of a prison, and I thought, when I grow up, I'm going to read that book. And did I? No, I didn't. I never did. I always have known it was this rollicking, super long adventure tale. At least I think that's what it is. And then I finally got this beautiful copy, but I still have yet to read it. So I've been waffling about this. And then I also went and started reading Barchester Towers like 2 days ago. So right when I knew I needed to make time for this super long book, I started another kind of long book. I think it's almost 600 pages. And that's another book where you need to take your time and just enjoy it. And that one's not fast paced. It's just going to unroll at its own pace. So I'm going to read it. And so this may not even begin until somewhere later in the middle of the month, but I am going to at least start it. But my big question here that maybe some of you can chime in on, is it a book that works with reading it slowly and gradually on the side? Like if I start it and I just read a couple of chapters a day for however long it takes, does that work? Or does it have to be one of those more immersive where I spend a good dedicated chunk of time every day on it? Because I kind of shot myself in the foot trying to read Bleak House a couple years ago like that, where I just thought I could do the slow roll and read it on the side, and I never could get into it. There was so much, all the characters and whatever was going on and the legal stuff. I never really gave it a proper chance, and I ended up bailing out because I just couldn't keep up or remember who was who, because I think I needed to just read it by itself. It's still sitting over there with the bookmark in it, but that's another story. My current situation is The Count of Monte Cristo. So this morning I decided to just open it up and get a little flavor, and I read the first chapter, and it was really good. It was really good. I read the first chapter and then I had questions. I had questions about motivations and what really happened and what are these characters up to. It was promising. So that would seem like enough books, but I'm throwing in a couple more that are just books that I really, really want to read this month. Not really associated with any particular events or projects, but just two books that I have that are calling to me the most strongly right now. One of them is Women Talking by Arianne F. I've had this for a while. I talked about Fight Night in my haul video the other day, and how that's the third book I've acquired. So I really need to read the second book I've acquired. And I've been wanting very strongly to read it for a while and just not quite working it in. So I want to read this and my other new book, Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor, a science fiction novel with the wonderful cover and the hidden book inside the cover. It's a story within a story about a woman who reaches an impasse in her life and her career as a writer, and she writes something entirely different than she ever has before. And here's a blurb by none other than George R.R. Martin. Her best work yet. Death of the Author reads like 3 novels in one, or maybe 4, about fame and family, culture and change, the power of story, the writer's life, and robots. This one has it all. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. Okay, that really is it. What do you think? Am I vastly overshooting the limits of what one human being can read in a month? What you plan to read in March? What events are you participating in? There's some really good ones that I'm not even getting to, but I'll be enjoying hearing other people's experiences with that reading as well. So tell me what's going on down in the comments, and then I will be back on Friday for a Friday Reads, kind of a wrap up of the past 2 weeks because I was out of town last week. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.